The dangerous mistakes everyone makes when eating sardines. Sardines are one of the rare seafood options that stay naturally very low in mercury, making them one of the safest, most nutritious choices you can eat on a regular basis. These little fish pack a serious punch for your heart, your brain, and your bones. We're talking protein, omega-3s, calcium, and key vitamins your body truly needs. But here's the thing, most people make at least a few big mistakes that wipe out those benefits, ruin the flavor, and sometimes even cause health problems. Think about it for a second. When you're standing in the grocery aisle, are you sure you're grabbing the right can? When you have leftovers, are you storing them safely or are they quietly going bad in the fridge? Have you ever rinsed sardines before eating them, thinking it was the healthier move? And here's the big one. Are you throwing away the part that holds the most nutrition of all? The truth is, sardines get a bad rap not because of what's inside the can, but because of how people handle them. From storage mistakes to cooking errors, these tiny fish lose their goodness before they ever get a chance to help your body. In this video, we're going to walk through the most common mistakes people make with sardines. Some might seem minor at first, but once you understand why they matter, you'll never look at a can of sardines the same way again. By the end, you'll know exactly how to get the most out of every tin. Before we get started, can I ask a quick favor? Hit that like button and subscribe to join our growing community of healthy eaters. And if you enjoy videos like this one, drop a yes in the comments so we know you're here. All right, let's dig in. Mistake 10, throwing out the bones. One of the most common mistakes people make is picking out those tiny little bones from their sardines. It makes sense at first. With bigger fish, bones can be sharp, annoying, and even dangerous. But sardines are a completely different story. Their bones are totally safe to eat, soft enough to chew right through, and honestly, most people don't even notice them. The canning process pressure cooks the bones until they're so tender they practically melt in. And here's the real secret. Those tiny bones are nutritional gold. They're one of the best natural sources of calcium you'll find in any seafood. Just one serving of sardines with the bones gives you more than a third of your daily calcium needs, which is essential for keeping your bones strong, your teeth solid, and your muscles working properly. On top of that, they contain vitamin D, which helps your body actually absorb and use that calcium. Together, calcium and vitamin D are the dream team for protecting bone health, especially as we get older. When you pull those bones out, you're not just making extra work for yourself, you're throwing away nutrients your body really needs. And honestly, you won't even taste them. The bones blend right in with the fish. Plenty of people who eat sardines all the time can't even tell where the meat ends and the bone begins. Sure, some brands sell deboned sardines, but they usually cost more and often look broken up because the deboning process tears up the fish, so you're paying extra for less nutrition and a messier result. The fix is easy. Leave the bones in. They're safe, incredibly nutritious, and nearly invisible once you start eating. Think of them as a hidden bonus that makes sardines one of the most nutrient-packed foods you can put in your cart. Mistake 9. Choosing water-packed instead of oil-packed. One of the biggest mistakes actually happens right there in the grocery aisle, reaching for sardines packed in water instead of oil. On the surface, water-packed sounds like the smarter, healthier pick. Fewer calories, lighter taste, right? But here's the real story. When you go with water over oil, you're shortchanging yourself on both flavor and nutrition. Sardines are naturally loaded with healthy fats, especially omega-3 fatty acids. These are the fats that help dial down inflammation, protect your heart, and keep your brain sharp. Here's the catch though, your body absorbs omega-3s much more effectively when they're eaten alongside other healthy fats. That's exactly why sardines packed in oil, especially a quality option like extra virgin olive oil, are the wiser choice. The oil helps lock in flavor, keeps the fish nice and moist, and actually boosts your body's ability to put those omega-3s to work. Water, on the other hand, does the fish no favors at all. Sardines packed in water often come out bland, dry, or even a little metallic over time. That's because water can't protect the natural oils inside the fish from breaking down. As those oils oxidize, both the taste and the nutrition start to fade. Oil works like a protective shield, keeping sardines fresher and tastier for much longer. In fact, many sardine lovers say that oil-packed tins actually get better the longer they sit on the shelf. Yes, oil-packed sardines have more calories, but they're the good kind. Healthy fats that actually do something positive for your body. It's a small decision that adds up to a big difference. If you want sardines that taste great and deliver maximum nutrition, skip the water-packed tins and reach for ones stored in a quality oil instead. Mistake 8. Letting open cans sit too long. Here's a mistake almost everybody makes at some point, leaving an open can of sardines sitting around for too long. Unopened cans can last for years, no problem. But the moment you pop that lid, the clock starts ticking fast. As soon as sardines hit the air, they begin to break down. The healthy oils inside start to oxidize, which not only changes the taste, but also degrades those valuable omega-3 fats, the very reason most of us are eating sardines in the first place. The longer they sit out, the less nutrition you're actually getting and the worse they're going to taste. How long they stay good depends on what they're packed in. Sardines in water go downhill the fastest, usually within just 24 hours. Ones packed in oil can hold up for 2 to 3 days in the fridge. If they're in tomato sauce, you might get up to 4 days. But here's the rule. You absolutely can't ignore after a week, no matter what type you have, those sardines are spoiled and unsafe to eat, period. Another mistake people make is leaving them right in the open can. Once the metal is exposed to air, it can react and speed up spoilage, adding an unpleasant metallic taste to the fish. That's exactly why food safety experts recommend moving your sardines into a clean glass or plastic airtight container right away. It keeps air out, slows down nutrient loss, and preserves the flavor much better. If you really need to stretch things out, you can freeze them, but freezing does change the texture and makes them softer. The smartest habit? Only open what you plan to eat within a couple of days and always transfer any leftovers into a proper sealed container. It's a simple step that keeps your sardines safe, fresh, and full of the good stuff. Mistake 7. Ignoring expiration dates and storage rules. A lot of people figure that canned food basically lasts forever, but that's just not the case. Sardines can absolutely stay good for years when they're properly sealed and stored. But heat, sunlight, and moisture are their worst enemies. If you're leaving cans on a sunny windowsill, close to the stove, or in a damp corner of the pantry, you're speeding up the breakdown of both the can itself and the fish inside. Over time, the oils in the fish oxidize, the flavors turn sour, and the nutrients begin to fade. Even worse, a damaged can can allow bacteria to grow, making those sardines genuinely unsafe to eat. And here's something most people never think about. Not all sardines store equally well. Ones packed in tomato sauce or other acidic liquids break down faster than those stored in oil. So if you've got a mix of varieties in your pantry, rotate them wisely. Use the acidic ones first, and save your oil-packed tins for longer-term storage. It's also worth taking a close look at the can before you ever open it. If you spot bulging, rust, dents along the seams, or any sign of leaking, don't risk it. Just toss it out. Here's a good way to think about it. Sardines are one of the most affordable superfoods on the planet. Don't let them go to waste, and more importantly, don't put your health on the line just because of careless storage. With just a little attention, you can keep every single can fresh, safe, and ready to deliver all the nutrition it's got to offer. Mistake 6. Only eating them straight from the can. One of the best things about sardines is just how convenient they are. Pop the tin open and they're ready to go. But here's the downside. If you only ever eat them plain, straight out of the can, you're missing out on a whole world of flavor and variety. And that's exactly why so many people get bored with them way too quickly. Sardines are actually far more versatile than most people ever realize. Start thinking of them as an ingredient rather than just a quick snack. For example, mash them up with a little yogurt, avocado, or olive oil to make a protein-packed spread for bread or crackers. Pile them on a toast with capers, onions, or sliced tomatoes for a Mediterranean-style bite that feels gourmet but comes together in just a few minutes. They work beautifully in hot meals too. Stir them into pasta sauce right at the end for a boost of flavor and omega-3s. Toss them into a stir-fry just before serving so they stay intact while adding a serious protein punch. Even pizza gets an upgrade with sardines. Their rich, savory, salty flavor pairs wonderfully with olives, peppers, and fresh herbs. And at breakfast, fold them into scrambled eggs or an omelet for a powerhouse start to your morning. The benefit goes beyond just taste, it's about nutrition too. Pairing sardines with vegetables, grains, or healthy fats actually helps your body absorb their nutrients more effectively. For instance, eating them alongside vitamin C-rich foods like tomatoes or bell peppers helps your body take in more iron. So sure, eating them straight from the can every now and then is perfectly fine, but don't stop there. With just a little creativity, sardines can become a go-to secret ingredient that makes all kinds of dishes more exciting and more nourishing. Mistake 5. Thinking all sardines taste the same. A lot of people assume sardines are all pretty much the same. Crack open any can and they'll taste just like the last one. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Just like wine, coffee, or cheese, sardines vary enormously in flavor, texture, and quality depending on where they come from, how they're packed, and even the time of year the fish were caught. Take the waters they swim in, for example. Atlantic sardines can taste quite different from Mediterranean or Pacific ones because the water temperature, the fish's diet, and the overall environment all play a role in how they develop. Cold water sardines, like those from Norway, tend to have a firmer bite and a cleaner, milder flavor. Sardines from warmer waters are often softer and richer in taste. Even the season matters. Fish caught in spring may taste lighter and more delicate, while those caught later in the year are fattier and more full-flavored. And that's just the beginning. The liquid they're packed in changes the taste dramatically. Olive oil, tomato sauce, mustard, or water each bring out something completely different in the fish. Spanish and Portuguese sardines packed in high-quality olive oil, for instance, often develop deep, complex, almost buttery flavors the longer they sit. Some producers smoke their sardines, giving them a rich, savory depth, while others use spiced oils or bold sauces for an extra kick of flavor. So if you tried one can and didn't love it, please don't write sardines off entirely. It might have simply been that particular brand or style. Exploring different origins, pack styles, and producers can completely transform your experience. Sardines are anything but one size fits all. Once you start experimenting, you'll discover there's a whole flavorful world hiding inside those little tins. Mistake 4. Pairing sardines with the wrong flavors. Sardines are bold little fish. Their rich oils and deep savory flavor make them powerful players on any plate, but that also means they need the right companions. One of the most common mistakes people make is pairing sardines with flavors that clash rather than complement. Here's the key. Sardines thrive on contrast. Their natural richness really shines when they're paired with bright, fresh, or tangy ingredients that cut right through the oiliness. Think fresh lemon juice, a splash of vinegar, capers, ripe tomatoes, or pickled vegetables. These bold, zesty flavors don't overwhelm the sardine, they sharpen it, pulling the whole dish into a satisfying balance. Fresh herbs like parsley, dill, or cilantro bring a clean, lively note that lightens everything up beautifully. So what should you steer clear of? Heavy cream sauces, overly buttery dishes, or anything too sweet? Creamy sauces combined with the natural oiliness of sardines can feel overwhelmingly rich and heavy on the palate. Sweet glazes or fruit-based toppings often clash with sardines' natural saltiness, creating a flavor combination that just doesn't work. Here's a simple example to illustrate the point. Sardines on toast with a squeeze of lemon and a handful of fresh herbs. Light, satisfying, and delicious. Sardines smothered in a heavy cheese sauce. The double richness makes them nearly impossible to enjoy. That doesn't mean you can't get creative, but balance is always the goal. When you choose the right flavor partners, sardines go from just fish in a can to a genuinely gourmet ingredient that feels fresh, vibrant, and totally memorable. Mistake 3, rinsing away taste and nutrition. This one might genuinely surprise you. One of the worst things you can do with sardines is rinse them under the tap before eating. Plenty of people do this, thinking it'll cut down on the salt, reduce the fat, or get rid of that fishy smell. But in reality, all rinsing does is wash away the flavor and strip out valuable nutrients. When sardines are canned, the oil, sauce, or brine they're packed in isn't just there to fill up space. It's actually a key part of the preservation process. Over time, the fish and the liquid slowly exchange flavors, and important nutrients like omega, 3S, and fat-soluble vitamins work their way into that liquid. The moment you rinse them off, those nutrients go right down the drain, along with all the taste that's been building up for months. With oil-packed sardines, rinsing creates yet another problem. Oil and water simply don't mix, so the fish end up slippery, broken apart, and a lot less appetizing to eat. The same goes for sardines packed in tomato or mustard sauce. Rinsing strips away all that tangy richness that helps balance the fish's natural flavor so beautifully. And about that salt concern, yes, sardines can be on the salty side, but rinsing honestly doesn't solve it. The salt gets absorbed deep into the fish itself during the canning process. It's not just sitting on the surface waiting to be washed off. A much better solution is to simply buy low-sodium varieties or ease up on the salt in the rest of your meal. That way you hold on to every bit of flavor and nutrition where it belongs. Think of it this way. Rinsing sardines is like undoing months of careful flavor and nutrient development in just a few seconds under the faucet. Instead of washing it all away, lean into the oil, brine, or sauce. That liquid is a big part of what makes sardines so special in the first place. Mistake 2, avoiding sardines because of fishiness. One of the top reasons people stay away from sardines is the idea that they're just too fishy. But let's be honest, sardines are fish. They're supposed to have a taste of the sea. The real problem usually isn't the sardines themselves. It's how they've been stored, how they're being prepared, or what they're being paired with. Good fresh sardines should taste clean, savory, and just slightly briny like a gentle ocean breeze on a warm day. If yours are tasting overly strong or just unpleasant, chances are they weren't stored properly, they're past their best by date, or they're simply not being served with the right ingredients alongside them. The trick isn't to mask the flavor, it's to brighten it up. Acidic ingredients like a good squeeze of fresh lemon juice, a splash of vinegar, or a spoonful of tomato sauce cut right through any heaviness and bring the flavor alive. Fresh herbs like parsley, cilantro, or dill do the same job, adding a burst of freshness that perfectly balances out the richness of the fish. Quality makes an enormous difference here too. Sardines packed in good olive oil or a flavorful tomato sauce almost always taste cleaner and far less overpowering than cheaper, poorly processed options. And here's something really interesting. Your taste buds can actually adjust over time. If you don't eat fish very often, sardines might taste pretty strong at first. But the more you eat them, the more you start picking up on their subtle natural sweetness and wonderful depth of flavor. So instead of writing sardines off as too fishy, give different pairings a fair shot. Toss them into a fresh salad, hit them with a squeeze of citrus, or serve them alongside some crisp, crunchy vegetables. You might be genuinely surprised at how fast that too fishy flavor turns into something you actually start craving. Mistake 1. Throwing away the precious oil. This is hands down the most costly mistake people make with sardines, draining out the oil and pouring it straight down the sink. That golden liquid is not waste. Not even close. It's actually where some of the very best flavor and nutrition in the entire can are hiding. Here's what's really going on. When sardines are packed in oil, a slow, quiet exchange takes place inside that tin. The fish gradually release some of their natural juices into the surrounding oil, while the oil soaks back into the fish at the same time. Over months of storage, that oil becomes deeply enriched with omega-3 fatty acids, fat-soluble vitamins like D and E, and a rich, savory depth of flavor that builds over time. In other words, it essentially becomes liquid nutrition. Throwing it out doesn't just mean losing a few extra calories, you're tossing away genuinely valuable nutrients that help protect your heart, support your brain, and strengthen your immune system. From a cooking perspective, you're also throwing away a completely free flavor booster that any good home cook would be thrilled to have on hand. So what can you actually do with it? Quite a lot, it turns out. Drizzle it over a salad in place of bottled dressing. Use it to saute onions and garlic before cooking up a pan of pasta or rice. Stir it into soups or stews to give the broth a wonderful richness. You can even dip a piece of crusty bread into it with a squeeze of lemon and a few fresh herbs for a quick, satisfying little snack. And here's a nice bonus. The oil's flavor actually deepens a little more after the can is opened. Stored properly in the fridge for a few days, it can add even more complexity and character to whatever you're cooking. Sardine oil is simply too good to pour away. Start treating it like the secret kitchen ingredient it truly is. Should be careful with sardines. Sardines are genuinely one of the healthiest foods you can add to your diet, but like any powerful food, they're not the perfect fit for absolutely everyone. A few groups of people should be a little more mindful about how often they eat them. People with high blood pressure or salt sensitivity, most canned sardines are packed in brine, oil, or sauce that contains a fair amount of sodium. Too much salt can push blood pressure higher. So if this is a concern for you, look for low sodium varieties at the store. They're widely available and taste just as good. Those with gout or high uric acid. Sardines are naturally high in purines, which the body converts into uric acid. For people who are sensitive to this, eating sardines too often can trigger a painful gout flare-up. Keeping portions moderate is the smartest approach here. Anyone prone to kidney stones, particularly uric acid stones, since a higher purine intake may increase the risk. If this applies to you, it's worth having a conversation with your doctor before making sardines a regular part of your routine. Pregnant women. The good news is that sardines are very low in mercury, much safer than larger fish like tuna or swordfish. That said, since they're often packed in oil or brine, it's a good idea to keep an eye on your overall sodium and calorie intake if you're enjoying them frequently during pregnancy. For the vast majority of healthy people, sardines are wonderful food to enjoy on a regular basis. But if you fall into one of these groups, a little moderation goes a long way toward keeping things safe and healthy. Conclusion. So there you have it. Sardines are one of the most underrated superfoods out there, but only when you treat them the right way. From picking the right can at the store to storing, pairing, and preparing them properly at home, small mistakes really can mean the difference between a bland, wasted meal and a genuinely powerful nutrition boost. Don't let simple slip-ups keep you from enjoying everything these little fish have to offer. Packed with protein, omega-3s, calcium, and essential vitamins, sardines support your heart, your brain, and your bones, all while being one of the most budget-friendly foods you can find on any grocery shelf. Now you know exactly how to unlock their full potential and sidestep the traps that trip most people up. If you found this video helpful, please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss our next tip on smart, healthy eating. Do you eat sardines regularly, or do you have a favorite way to prepare them? We'd really love to hear about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and for being a part of this community. And if you're ready to keep learning, we've got 2 more videos all queued up and waiting for you. Just click on one and we'll see you right there. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next videos. I love hearing your thoughts, so please subscribe and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.